Me and my wife, I'm the dreamer of our group. You know, I feel like in a marriage, you have one is a dreamer, you know, money's not real. Let's have fun. Let's go do fun stuff as much as we can. And the other person hates fun. And that's how you make a marriage. You can't have two dreamers. You're going to be homeless in an hour. Someone that just walks around, is fun happening? I'd like to put a stop to that. Are y'all having fun? Stop it. Is the air conditioner on? Turn it off. I married my dad, is who I married. My dad, who thought air conditioning cost $100,000 a day to run it. When we would be on car rides, I thought if you turned it on, your car exploded. Like just gas, you were out. We're out immediately. Did someone turn the air conditioner on? My dad is a magician. He's done that my entire life. He was a clown at the very beginning, just in case you're like, how do you get into something like that? He goes clown then magic. There's 2 steps. You can take them in either order. I was born, he was a clown. It was never weird to me. I thought everybody's dad was a clown. My first memory of my life is I was 5 years old, and I remember my mom walked me out to the front yard, and my dad pulled up with this old red Mazda. He's dressed as a clown. That doesn't even faze me. That's just how he left. How else would he come home? And the Easter Bunny was in the passenger seat. That's the first thing that I remember to my life. If you want to know how you get into comedy, that's a pretty good nudge. And I remember it didn't fit, the Easter Bunny head didn't fit in the car. Like he couldn't sit normal. So his head was bent to the side. And I remember he had his seatbelt on, and he's just like, and I was like, I like to think about all the other people that saw that just in the car next to him, just at a red light. You're like, I didn't even know they hung out like that. So me and my dad, he just does magic now, and he's very good at what he does. He's very funny, and we do shows together. So one time we did, magicians have conventions where they get together and they're buy and sell tricks, and they give a lecture, and they do this big show. So this guy was putting one together in Des Moines, Iowa, which is the birthplace of magic, something a lot of people don't know. And it's not, but it does sound like it could be. I don't know why. I said that in Des Moines, and people are like, I think I already knew that. They're like, no, he's right. So this guy calls me, he's like, your dad's performing this year, so we want you to come down, and we're gonna make you appear out of a magic trick. I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna surprise my dad, surprise the audience, everybody will go crazy, and then I'll do 5 minutes of stand-up, and that will end the show. He's like, it's gonna be like a big deal. I was like, all right, I agreed to it. I fly to Des Moines, I'm hiding, I'm in my room, no one knows I'm there. The show starts, my dad's out performing, I climb in a box backstage. When my dad gets done performing, they ask him to stay and help, they push the box out. The trick is, the guy is a very pretty lady assistant, she walks around, shows the box is empty, and then she climbs in, normally it just falls apart, and then but now it falls apart and it's me, and I pop out. And you have to come out big. I don't know if you've ever appeared out of a magic trick, but if you do, you can't just be like, how you doing? You know, like, it's gotta be a grand, like, can you believe it? And I look at my dad, his face is so surprised, he had no idea. But his eyes are just like, why would you ever do this? And I was like, this is not a good time to visit you. The audience is clapping, but they're not going that crazy. Like, the clapping starts dying down. And as I'm standing there, it's like hitting me that I was like, I don't think they know who we are. That guy told me they did, and they don't. They don't know that's my dad. They don't know I'm a comedian. This looks like the stupidest trick they've ever seen. It doesn't make sense. Like, they're like, a pretty girl goes in, then just a whatever dude pops out. That's your trick? Your trick is backwards, sir. It's backwards. And now I gotta do comedy, but they don't know I'm a comedian, so I get a microphone. They're like, he's gonna talk to us now? How long is this trick? And when you do comedy in front of people not expecting comedy, it does not come off as comedy. It sounds like a mean speech. They were just like, get back in the box. Where's the girl? Is she fine? My last name is Bargatze. I know nothing about the history of my family. I've never, really looked into it. So I asked a great uncle, told me a pretty wild story. We had a guy in our family he got killed, got murdered actually by a sickle, like the thing the Grim Reaper carries. And this was like the 1800s too, just so you don't have to feel, it's not a recent story. We're over it as a family. So the guy, it was his own fault too. The guy's nickname, they called him Two Thumbs Bargatze. And the reason they called him that was because he had two thumbs on one hand, but still had the other thumb. So not even a good nickname. I'm Two Thumbs Bargatze. Everybody but him is Two Thumbs Bargatze. He's the only not two thumbs we've ever had in the history of our family. So, like I said, he was a troublemaker. Two Thumbs, he was hooking up with this guy's wife. So he's at her house. He leaves. The neighbor sees him. He gives him two thumbs, one hand up, you know. And the neighbor's like, all right. The husband gets home. The neighbor was like, hey, your wife's cheating on you with this dude. And he was like, who's the guy? And he was like, I don't know his name, but he had two thumbs on one hand, if that helps. And, you know, the guy was like, that helps a lot. I didn't know you were going to be that specific, so I know exactly. So Two Thumbs was at home. This is all what I was told. He was at home. He was gardening. He was extra good at gardening. And he's sitting there. He's gardening. And the sickle's there. And then he kills him. He kills him with it. And that's it. That's basically it. But here's the lesson. All right, guys? The lesson is, if you're doing something shady, that's not the time to stand out, you know? Like, you don't want to be different then. Put your dumb hand in your pocket. If I had 3 legs and was going to rob a bank, I'm going to be the getaway driver. I'm not going to gallop in the bank with all 3 legs. I travel a lot, and you know, it's not easy when you travel a lot. When you fly a bunch, you just think you're going to die a bunch. I fly all the time. I was going through security recently, and this lady in front of me told the TSA agent that she was nervous about standing in like the X-ray machine. And then the TSA agent goes, well, it's a lot safer than that plane you're about to get on. All right. Like, what plane is she about to get on? Do you know something about that plane? Like, why would you say that? Have you ever, like, got on a flight and just looked at everybody already on it? It just looks like a group that would go down in a plane crash, like, for some reason. You're like, I feel like I've seen y'all before. I had a pilot tell us right before we take off that he was retiring and this was his last flight. You're like, just say that when we land, dude. We'll be the same people, you know? Like, why are you putting this much pressure on this flight? He's basically just like, either way, this is my last flight. So I don't even like to change flights because I'm afraid I would change into one that goes down. And that would be so frustrating. Just everybody's crying and you're like, you think you guys are upset? I paid $200 extra to get on this flight. Like, you guys are lucky. I was going through a small airport like recently, and like so they just had like the metal detector, and so we go through, and a guy in front of me, it beeps, and then they asked him, they're like, hey, do you think, they're like, do you have anything metal on you? And he was like, my keys. He's like, do you think that would do it? And it was like, I think that would be the #1 answer on Family Feud of what would set a metal detector off. Keys? We thought he was gonna be like his knee or something. He's like, keys, do you think? You know, it's not easy when you travel a lot. When you fly a bunch, you just think you're gonna die a bunch. I fly all the time. I was going through security recently, and this lady in front of me told the TSA agent that she was nervous about standing in like the X-ray machine. And then the TSA agent goes, well, it's a lot safer than that plane you're about to get on. All right. Like, what plane is she about to get on? Do you know something about that plane? Like, why would you say that? Have you ever like got on a flight and just looked at everybody already on it? It just looks like a group that would go down in a plane crash, like for some reason. You're like, I feel like I've seen y'all before. I had a pilot tell us right before we take off that he was retiring and this was his last flight. You're like, just say that when we land, dude. We'll be the same people, you know? Like, why are you putting this much pressure on this flight? He's basically just like, either way, this is my last flight. So I don't even like to change flights because I'm afraid I would change into one that goes down. And that would be so frustrating. Just to, everybody's crying and you're like, you think you guys are upset. I paid $200 extra to get on this flight. Like, you guys are lucky. I was going through a small airport like recently, and like so they just had like the metal detector, and so we go through, and a guy in front of me, it beeps, and then they asked him, they're like, "Hey, do you think they're like, do you have anything metal on you?" And he was like, "My keys." He's like, "Do you think that would do it?" And it was like, I think that would be the #1 answer on Family Feud of what would set a metal detector off. Keys? We thought he was gonna be like his knee or something. He's like, keys? Do you think? You're like, let's just try. I mean, all right. I don't know. I've done comedy for a while. I've done a lot of different shows. They're not, they're not as all exciting as the Tonight Show. I did one in a prison once, like in it, like all the way in it. Like we went to them. Like I didn't like meet them out, you know. So we go in. Let's say you guys are the inmates. So I'm sitting here. I'm like doing my dumb jokes. None of it works. Every joke I have involves being outside in the past 30 years. Like I'm like, traffic's crazy. You guys remember? Who remembers? People remember traffic here, right? So I'm doing my dumb jokes, and then an inmate gets up and starts walking towards me. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. You know, like he's going to use me to break out. And I don't want to point at him, but no one's like looking. But I am using hand gestures. I'm like, what do you guys do on this side of the room? Should he be walking up like that? Turns out the bathrooms are behind me. He's a good guy. I judged him on what he was wearing and where we were at. It was my fault. So I'm like against a brick wall, and it's like goes like halfway up, and then the urinals are like all behind here. So then he comes to use the bathroom, and then he comes to the urinal right behind me. So then it's just me and him just looking at everybody, and he peed. He peed without even kind of it was the most confidence I've ever seen in my entire life. I thought, whatever you think this guy did it, all right? That's not, an innocent man doesn't pee like that. That's a guilty, I'm not getting out. I took social media off my phone. I don't, it's too much. Like you just, you walk around and just look at it all day. Facebook, they did a good job. It's a real good company. And Facebook's just too much. It's either everybody's best or worst days of their life. You know, like you're either like, I'm getting married or my house is on fire. No one's like, today's normal. Nothing happened. I have no strong opinions about anything. My wife gets mad because she was like, you don't like any of my photos on Facebook. And it's like, is this not enough? Like us just being married and living together? It's like, you know, how much, and I did like it. When we took it, I said, I liked that photo. Like I told you that. I'm in the photo. There's not much more than I can do in this photo's life.